Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast. And today we're going to do a mock draft, but we're going to do a unique strategy. We're going to try to get all contract year players on our team. Let's see what kind of team we can build and see if you like it. Here we go.
Listen up. It's time for the Fantasy Maverick podcast, starring the guy who's going to help you win that fantasy championship, Jimmy Maverick.
Hello there, friends. It's Jimmy Maverick. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Maverick podcast. Thanks for watching. And by the way, if you haven't done so already, I invite you to go and please like and subscribe this video. I very much appreciate it. And I also love to hear from you. So if you got any questions about any of the players we're talking today, please leave me a message down below. Now, we are going to do a mock draft today. We're going to do a strategy. And the strategy today is we are going to try to get an all contract year player team. All right. Every single player on our team, we're going to try to get him on a contract year. Now, I make no qualms about it, man. I love contract year players. And in fact, if you use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, you will find that all the players that are either on a contract year this season or will be on a contract year after next season are all marked on the app. I mark all the ones having a contract year this year with a gold dollar sign next to their name. And if it's after next season, it's a silver dollar sign. Now, all of these give a bonus in the outlook to the players that have them. Okay, so they all get a bump. The way it works typically is if they have a gold dollar sign, they get +2 stars to their outlook. If they are a silver dollar sign, they get +1 star to their outlook, unless they are a quarterback or they are an elite player, meaning a top 24 player. If that's the case, then those bonuses are flipped. And actually, the silver dollar is the more valuable one that gives those players +2. The gold dollar is +1. Now, why is it like that? Well, the reason, first of all, for quarterbacks, I do it for all quarterbacks. And the reason is because quarterbacks are more valuable for contract year upside in the season before their contract year. We just saw this with Mahomes. Mahomes was going into a contract year, and so they eventually just paid him $500 million. Okay, he still had 2 full seasons left on his contract, but that was the contract year bonus. Likewise, certain players, if they make it to their contract year as a quarterback, it's usually not a good sign, okay? Like Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota. Those guys both went to their contract year season, and lo and behold, both those guys are on different teams right now, and they are not starting quarterbacks, okay? So, like I said, I like the quarterbacks the year before their contract year. And also, when it comes to elite players, we're talking the top 24 ADP players, these elite wide receivers and running backs. The risk with those guys, if they make it to their contract year, is they're going to hold out. And we've heard about that. Dalvin Cook's threatened to hold out. Joe Mixon has threatened to hold out. So there's a higher risk level associated with those players holding out on their contract year. So again, they still get a bonus. They still get a bump to their outlook, but it's only a +1 instead of a +2. So that's kind of how it works. Now, if you haven't done so already, I invite you to go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. That is where you're going to find my app. And when you go into the app, it's going to ask you 3 questions, okay? And this is for a quick setup. You can go into a more detailed setup once you get in the app. But first question is, how does your league score points? We're going to do a half-point PPR today. Do you want to engage Jimmy's recommended player filters? I do not. I want to keep all the players up there, so we'll just say no to that. And then, do you want to enter draft mode? Yes. So you have to put in the size of your league. We're going to do a 12-team league. What is your draft position? Draft position, we're going to do 6 today. And so we'll go ahead and enter draft mode. And so you can see there's the player list right there. And what draft mode does is it breaks the list down round by round based on the size of your league and your draft position. So when you look at round number 1, that's what these tabs represent, is each round of your draft. Round number 1, and I'm just going to minimize this. What you're looking at is you're looking at all the players between pick number 6 in the first round and pick number, 19? Okay, pick number 19 in the second round. So that's what you see here with a little bit of overlap. We have long shots, which are players that are going before picks number 6, which might make it to us. And then we also have these little hands, which means reaches. Those are the guys that will be long shots on the next round. So if you really like a player and you don't want to risk it, this is when you should take that reach. Otherwise, you can gamble and say, okay, it's a 50-50 shot or so that he'll make it to my next pick. I'll see if he makes it. And if he does, you're good. I mean, it's great, but it's going to give you that information. Also, the players are not sorted according to their expected draft position. Instead, they're sorted by what I call the Vork Score, which stands for value, outlook, reliability, and consistency. It's these 4 columns right here. And based on how they score on each of these 4 criteria, they get points. Those points are added up. That's the Vork Score, and they are sorted by their Vork Score. Now, the score can be between 0 and 100. What I say is any player over 40 points, that scores over 40 Vork points, is a good choice for fantasy, but I like to get players as high on the list as I possibly can. The higher the Vork score, the better. But like I said, anybody over 40 is a good choice, and we'll see some bad choices here. We'll talk about them, and we'll see if we want to take a risk on them. So we are going to do our mock draft today on Fantasy Pros, and like I said, it's going to be a half-point PPR, picking 6th in a 12-team league, and it's going to be a 14-round draft, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, a defense, and 6 bench slots. All right? So let's go ahead and get this thing started, and we'll see who comes off the board first. Anyway, this is going to be an interesting strategy. We'll see how it turns out. Now, I already know which quarterback we're going to get. We're going to get Deshawn Watson. He's the only quarterback on contract year this year. And although he may receive his extension before the season starts, we're getting very close to the season right now. I'm guessing it's not going to happen until next year. So he's going to be our target for that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put up the cheat sheet so we can see all the players that we want to look at. And it's just going a little slow here. Cheat sheets, and I'm going to hide the tiers. All right, so the first players that came off the board, let's see, we got mostly running backs. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas came off, so it's to us. You can see our choices: Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, Joe Mixon. Well, let's go to the app and see who we want to get. So for the first round, there's actually quite a few contract year players. Now, Alvin Kamara already came off the board, but you can see that we have Joe Mixon, we have Chris Godwin, we have Nick Chubb, Dalvin Cook, and George Kittle, all contract year players, all pretty much going this round. A couple of them might make it to our next pick. But if we want to go with the highest rated player right now, it would be Joe Mixon, who scores 56 Vorks points, contract year, upward trend in his usage. His value rank is 11th overall, 4-star outlook, high reliability, 7 out of 10 consistency. He's a very good player for us. And I think since we want to stick with the contract year strategy, that's who we're going to go with. Now, normally, I would probably take Derrick Henry here. Or Kenyon Drake, who's a reach. I might gamble on Kenyon Drake making it to the next round, but we're not playing that strategy. We're going for contract year players. So let's start with Mixon. And where is he? There he is right there. We'll go ahead and draft him. And it'll be a quick turnaround to the next pick. Now, what you do is in normal drafts, you've got time. Every live person in your draft is going to take a little bit of time to make their decision. And what I say is during the interim, when we're between picks, we're just going to go to the next round and we're going to see who we want to take. So if we go to the second round, we can see the contract year players available. Kenny Golladay is the highest rated player. You can also see there's George Kittle, Aaron Jones, Juju Smith-Schuster. So we've got some good options here, but clearly Golladay is the best. So let's see if he is still available. Is Golladay still on the board? He is still on the board. That is fantastic. This one's an easy pick. So we will go ahead and we will take Golladay with our second pick. Now, again, if we weren't doing the strategy, we might consider Kenyon Drake. Oh, I didn't even see if Kenyon Drake made it to us. But you can see there's Drake, Sanders, Jacobs, and Kelsey, all listed as long shots on this round, very highly rated. But right now, we're just going to be taking contract year players. So now let's jump to the third round. So if we look at the third round players, what contract year players can we choose from? Well, we got Chris Carson, Leonard Fournette, Calvin Ridley, who is on a contract year next season, and his also a reach. So I would like to gamble and maybe see if Calvin Ridley makes it to our next pick. Cooper Kupp, DJ Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Mark Andrews, and also James Conner. Okay. Now, again, the ones that score over 40 points are the ones that are most interesting to me. I do like the idea of either going for Carson or Fournette here. I think those would be good choices. Carson is still dealing with an injury. He has not come back fully from that hip surgery that he had done. So I say let's take the high-volume running back who is on a contract year and is fully healthy right now, Leonard Fournette. So let's go to the draft simulator, make sure he is still on the board. And if we look, yes, he sure is. So let's go ahead. We will select Fournette with our third overall pick. And let's jump to the next round. So we will go to round 4. And in round 4, let's see here. What contract year players do we have? Well, we have Calvin Ridley, who's the top-rated long shot for this round. Cortland Sutton, also very highly rated here. We've got DJ Chark. We've got Mark Andrews as a long shot. We've got James Conner as a long shot. Again, those guys not interested at all in them. But certainly if Ridley makes it to us, let's go ahead and take Ridley. So let's see what happens here and who comes off on this period. And let's see here. Ridley, he did get taken, which is a shame. Now, the next highest rated player would be Cortland Sutton. Sutton is in a contract year after next season, but again, if he has an explosive season this year, they're probably going to extend him during the offseason. He is a near elite option in the league. You can see his value rank is 36th. We're at pick 43, so he does offer some nice value there. 3-star outlook, high reliability, 10 out of 10 consistency. That's what you love to see as a guy you can count on every month for a consistent level of targets and production. So let's go ahead. I like the idea of going with Sutton here. So let's see. Now, you can see there's Cooper Kupp, and he is available. He does have a contract year. Where is Kupp? I know maybe he, this is one that shouldn't have made it to us, but did. So if we put Cooper Kupp up here, Cooper Kupp also scores very well. And he actually offers better value. You know what? He does offer better value, but his consistency is much worse. See, his consistency is a 3 out of 10 versus 10 out of 10 for Sutton. Really, I want consistency in my players as much as possible. So we're going to lose a little bit of value, but I'm not too worried about it. I do like Sutton very much this year. I love that offense. So let's go with Sutton for this next pick. So there we go. We're 4 in. 4 contract year players in a row right now. So this is kind of exciting. This is fun. Now, if we look to the 5th round, I think we're going to need to take our quarterback. And yes, Deshaun Watson. As I said, he's the only quarterback right now on a contract year. So he is definitely the guy we need to take. You can see he is a reach on this round. So if we wanted to gamble and see if we could get him in the 6th, we could try that. But in this case, I don't want to risk it because he's the only option we have for a quarterback that is on a contract year. So who else is on a contract year on this round? Let's see. Raheem Mostert is on a contract year, and that's it. So let's take our quarterback, and we will go from there. So if we go and take Deshaun Watson. Now, you see there's still 3 other quarterbacks in front of him. You know what? I'm feeling confident that we can wait. As long as we're not within 3, once Dak comes off is when I would take Deshaun Watson. Dak has not come off. So instead, let's go ahead and take Mostert. Let's take Mostert as our RB3. I really like that, man. I'm very happy that they resolved their contract issues. Let's see here. So where is Mostert? There he is. So we'll take Mostert. And like I said, I'm very confident that Deshaun Watson will make it to our 6th pick. So let's just go ahead and take him and see what happens here. And so there's Dak came off. All right, so just Dak came off. Oh, and Kyler Murray came off. So perfect. So we gambled, we won. That's great. Now in the 6th round, other players that are on a contract year include, well, there's Deshaun Watson right at the top, Michael Gallup, and Evan Engram. Oh, for a tight end. Now, again, Evan Ingram is a low reliability player, right? He's missed a lot of time. But I got to tell you, contract year, I don't think it matters as much. I have seen so many examples of injury-prone players that miss a ton of time that all of a sudden on their contract year become superhuman superstars. And I like the idea of going for Evan Ingram, not in this round because he's a reach, but seeing if he will make it to round 7. Now, if we look at what other tight ends are still available on the board, let's look down here. So, look at that. We're risking it. I don't know if he'll make it to our next pick. We'll see. But if we miss on him, there's other contract year tight ends that we can get. We definitely need to get Deshawn Watson. I'm not comfortable with waiting another round for Deshawn Watson. So let's go ahead. We'll take him. And let's see if Evan Ingram makes it one more round to us. Oh, no, of course he got taken right after our pick. Of course, right? So let's go now. We are in the 7th round, so we will go 7. And who are the contract year players on this round? Ronald Jones. That's a player that I very much like. Darius Geis, Will Fuller, Matt Breida. And, of course, Evan Ingram did not make it to us, so that's too bad. But here's something that I want to talk about. Now, Will Fuller rates terribly in my app, right? But it is a contract year for him. Again, a low reliability player on a contract year with a quarterback that is on a contract year. Now, I want to just say, last season we had 2 teams which had 2 offensive fantasy players on contract years, and all of them did amazing, okay? So in Tennessee, you had Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry. And then in Dallas, you had Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, right? All these guys ended up with career seasons. And I find that when you have the stack of 2 contract year players on the same team, they feed off of each other, especially if one of them is a quarterback. So I love the idea of going with Will Fuller here as a very risky pick, right? I mean, if we wanted to be safe, we could take Ronald Jones. We could take, Darius Geis is also a very risky pick here. But, I think Will Fuller's going to be playing for the big payday. He's got to show this team what he can finally do and that he can last a full season if he wants the big money. So let's take a chance on Will Fuller on a contract year with the upside. So we'll go ahead and we'll take Fuller, draft him. And now let's move on to the next round. So we'll move on to the 8th round. And who is on a contract year here in the 8th round? We've got Marlon Mack, Tariq Cohen, Christian Kirk, Will Fuller, who's a long shot. Obviously, we already got him. Matt Breida, all these guys on a contract year. And no tight ends. Let's see here. So let's run through their picks, and let's take a look at our team and see who we currently have. So on our roster, we got Deshaun Watson as our quarterback. We got Mixon, Fournette, and Mostert as our running backs. We got Galladay and Sutton as our wide receivers. And Will Fuller as our first bench play. This is a very, very nice team. I actually very much like this. For this round, in the 8th round, the highest rated would be Marlon Mack or Tariq Cohen. Both these guys obviously have their risks. And they're in crowded backfields, which have other players which are looking to take more work away from them. Cohen is a great PPR option because he just gets so many targets, but you've got issues with the quarterback there. Christian Kirk is a very intriguing option for me as a contract year player, given that I've never really considered him to be a wide receiver 1. And, of course, that's the position he's been in for the past few seasons, and he has not been great, right? He's been very sporadic. His usage is all over the place. But now he's the number 2 behind DeAndre Hopkins, who's going to take all the attention, and it's going to open things up for Christian Kirk. As a high upside wide receiver, I really like that. Again, he is medium reliability, 8 out of 10 consistency, value and outlook, not great, but upside there. I mean, there's definitely upside. This is a very tough round for contract year players as they all have warts, but I think Kirk has a very clean path to have a very successful season. So why don't let's take Christian Kirk. So we will go ahead and, oh, look, he's right there. Perfect. All right. Christian Kirk, you're on the team. Awesome. So let's move on to the 9th round. And in the 9th round, who do we got on contract year? Well, we've got, Tariq Cohen is a long shot. And we've got Mike Williams of the Chargers, also as a reach here. Boy, is that it? That's it. There's not that much. Okay. Oh, Phillip Lindsay is also on a contract year. Oh, I like the idea of going with Lindsay. Again, I've talked about my problems with Melvin Gordon and that I think he switched teams for all the wrong reasons and going to Denver. And Phillip Lindsay has been there, man. Highly reliable, highly consistent, effective. And I just think Melvin Gordon is going to suffer some sort of setback this season, some sort of injury, whereas Lindsay is playing for his career, and he wants to stay on the Broncos, right? So he's going to play his best work. So I like the idea of going with Lindsay here. You can see Tariq Cohen came off, and Marlon Mack came off. Who else is here? Well, Matt Breida. Oh, Breida is also a contract year player. He made it to us. But Phillip Lindsay is there. So let's go ahead and take Lindsay. He's going to be our 4th running back. So this is a depth play. So I like that. Let's move on. 10th round. Who's on a contract year? All right. So we've got Kerryon Johnson on a contract year. Who else? We got Mike Williams as a long shot to make it to us. I don't think he'll make it back to us. Anthony Miller, Mike Gesicki. Okay, look, we need to take a tight end. Let's take Mike Gesicki. He's a high upside tight end here. I think he would be a great choice for our team. And so let's let it run through all the players here. And Mike Williams did come off early. But let's go with Gesicki. Excellent. All right. This team's looking pretty good, I got to say. It looks like we got some pretty good players here. 11th round. Who do we got for contract year? Well, top-rated player is the contract year player, Boston Scott. I love Boston Scott this year. I like him in any format. I think he's a breakout potential, so that would definitely be the top choice here. Who else do we got? We got Jonnu Smith, so here's another tight end, but I don't ever take more than one tight end in a regular draft, only if I have a super deep bench. We got Preston Williams. Oh, there's another high upside, risky wide receiver that could be very, very good. Let's see here. Who else? We got Dallas Goedert. Okay, so there's another tight end, right? Okay, so Boston Scott as a running back, I do like a lot, but Preston Williams, he offers pretty much the best value here. I mean, Darrell Henderson offers some better value, but we're not looking at him because he's not a contract year player. Preston, I do have him tagged as a breakout, but he is, currently still rehabbing back from that ACL tear, but everything's looking really good for him right now. I love the upside of taking someone like Preston Williams. He has a reach this round. We could gamble and see if he makes it to the next round, but I don't really want to gamble. So let's just go through all these. And let's see. So Boston Scott's right there. So Boston would definitely not make it back to us. Preston Williams is right there. Okay, so let's go ahead. Like I said, Boston Scott is like a backup running back, but Preston Williams has the potential to be an every week starter. That's his upside. So let's go ahead and we'll draft him. And let's move on. We'll go on. 12th round. Who is on a contract year on this round? Boston Scott's a long shot. We'll see if he makes it back to us. I bet he doesn't. That's it. There's no contract players other than Boston Scott. I'm betting he does not make it to us. We can always jump to the 13th round and look at what contract year players there are. Okay, so we got Curtis Samuel, Alan Lazard. We've got Nyheim Hines. We've got Chase Edmonds. Okay, so we've got some options here. And our our wide receivers are looking pretty good right now. I mean, we've got, who do we have right now for wide receivers? We've got Kenny Golladay, Cortland Sutton, Will Fuller, Christian Kirk, and Preston Williams. I don't think we need any more wide receivers. We definitely need running backs here. Boston Scott did not make it to us. But on this round, you can see that Nyheim Hines did make it to us, as did Chase Edmonds, who is a reach. So I don't know if we really need to go that deep. All the rest of these guys are wide receivers up here. We really just don't really need any more, even though I very much like both Lazard and Samuel. Let's go ahead and, boy, Hines. Again, I'm not thrilled with Indianapolis. I don't really like that. Let's just go for the hand. Let's go for the handcuff. Let's go for Chase Edmonds. I think he's going to do something this year. Where is he? Oh, did he already get taken? Let's see here. Yeah, he already got taken. Bummer. All right. So we're kind of out of options here for contract year running backs. So we could take Curtis Samuel. We could take Alan Lazard. Let's go ahead. We'll take Curtis Samuel. He's one of my favorite options. He scores so well. I mean, on my app, look at that, 100 Vork points. He's the only player that does it because he has incredible value, 5-star outlook, contract year, high reliability, 10 out of 10 consistency, upward trend in his usage. He's just all upside this year. I really, really like him on this contract year, and I think he's finally going to fulfill that promise that we've been teased about for at least the past 2 seasons. So we'll take Samuel, and let's jump to the next round, who is on a contract year here. Let's take a look. We've got Ian Thomas, the tight end. Chase Edmonds is a long shot. He obviously is already gone. Chris Herndon, tight end. And we got Justin Jackson. Oh, Justin Jackson. That's someone we could take. Chargers running back. Let's go ahead and grab him. Hopefully he will make it to us. And what's our roster like right now? One more bench slot, then we'll take our defense. So let's see here. Is he still on the board? Justin Jackson, I'm not seeing him. He's already gone. Oh, yeah, there he is. He's already taken. Shoot. Man, this is tough. We should have gone with more running backs early, man. We're loaded to bear with our wide receivers, but let's see here. Any other contract year running backs? Oh, Jamal Williams. Is he still on the board? No, of course, he's gone too. Okay, so again, we are just trying to lock ourselves in to something here. I'm not seeing any other options for running back contract years. So if we are in the 13th round, let's just jump back to 13. Let's go ahead. Maybe Lazard is still on the board. Yeah, he sure is. All right. So we are loaded up with some great wide receiver options. Actually, I very much like the wide receivers. And then as far as defense, a late round defense that I very much like is the Philadelphia Eagles. I love their matchups. So let's just go ahead and grab them. There they are. Available at the end of nearly every draft I'm doing. So let's see what they think of it. C-. Oh, what? How could they rate it that low? I mean, obviously there are some issues here, but I think this is a pretty decent team. Let's go look at the projected standings. They do not like this team at all. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Oh, it did not like my starters at all. How could it be that low? I don't get it, man. That doesn't make any sense to me. Let's look at the team analysis. So right now, all right, so let's review this team. So we started out, we got Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette, Raheem Mostert, Phillip Lindsay. Those are our 4 running backs. So not a very deep running back core. We definitely should have gotten another running back early. But we did get Kenny Golladay, Cortland Sutton, Will Fuller, Christian Kirk, Preston Williams, Curtis Samuel, and Alan Lazard as our wide receivers. That's a great wide receiver core. I don't see why they're having a problem with it. We got Deshaun Watson in the 6th as our quarterback, and our tight end is Mike Gesicki, and our defense is Philadelphia Eagles. Again, it is thin at running back. And if we look back at maybe, when we're talking about round 7, round 8, we probably should have taken at least one more running back, but maybe even 2 more, and then just stuck with some of these late round guys. I mean, the fact that we got Preston in the 11th, Samuel in the 12th, Lazard in the 13th, those guys are all good high upside players. But anyway, so what do you guys think, man? Leave me a message down below what you think of this strategy. The upside of this team is outstanding. I really, really like that. And, sometimes things don't work out. And I think also the limitation that we had to take Deshaun Watson because he's the only contract year quarterback this season, that's also something that kind of hurts the team, that there wasn't any available later on in the draft, that we could have instead gotten like another running back in the 6th round instead of him. But, overall, talk about a team with upside, man. This team is oozing upside and could be a very, very formidable team come the start of the season, despite what Fantasy Pros says. They got their players. But, again, tell me what you think of these players. Tell me what you think. Which picks did you like the best? Which picks did you like the least? Let's talk about it. Do you really think this team is a last place team? I don't think so, man. That starting group is very, very strong. So anyway, I have to counter what Fantasy Pros says there. But thank you very much for watching today, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you haven't done so already, please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com, and you can try out the app for yourself. You can actually sign up and access a free limited version of the app that lets you access the standard points list for a 12-team draft mode, and you can try it out on a mock draft yourself, see what you think. It has lots of great information in it, like this information about these contract year players. And the fact that we got 14 contract year players, that's pretty good. I really like that. I think that'll be an incredibly fun team to take into the fantasy season because the upside is tremendous with these contract year players. They're all paying for a big money payday, and it can happen. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. Please join me again on Wednesday. I'll have another podcast then. But until then, happy drafting, everybody.